First of all, I had a blast. This was one of the most funnest things that me and my family has ever done. We had a blast. I'm going to tell you a quick story as it relates to Paul Newby. So, I'm there working early voting, and I'm not necessarily there for me. I mean, I'm there for me, but I'm also there for Judge Newby. Judge Newby preached for me about a year and a half ago at our church when we were in Disneyland, or Disney World. And I had some liberals in our church come up to me and said, "We've got to get him reelected. We've got to get him reelected." And I said, "That's right." And so he gave our family the tour, and 4 of my 5 children got to sit on the bench to what a Chaney court would look like. But anyway, so I'm there working, and as Republicans, we try to be polite, and we don't want to just jab something in somebody's hand, so we try to be polite. Well, this lady came out, and she was so excited that she had voted for me, and I said, "Great, fantastic." She said, "But I wasn't sure about the judges." And I said, "Well, that's okay. The first job of voting is do no harm." And I said, "See this list right here?" She said, "That's who I voted for. Sam Irvin, that's who I voted for." And I said, "That was the wrong judge." And her eyes started filling with tears. I said, "That's okay. There's penance that can be done. You need to go out and get Judge Newby 5 votes to cancel out your 1 vote." She said, "I'll do it. I'm so sorry." So at that point I said, "Hey, are you sure about the judges?" I said, "I'd rather you have this and not need it than to need it and not have it." So that was one of the things that came out. But we had such a great time. I want to tell you a quick Bible story, and then I want to get into just what we did, why I'm so excited about what we did. There's a Bible story in Matthew chapter 25, and it's about the talents. If you read the NIV, it's about gold. About this master who's going to go away. And so in the NIV it talks about he gave one 5 bags of gold, and each one of those bags were worth 20 years of salary. And he gave one 2 years of gold, and then he gave one 1 year of gold. Well, he comes back after being away for a long time, and the one that he had given 5 bags of gold, he goes and he comes back, he says, "Master, here's 10. I've kept the 5 you gave me, but I invested and I made 5 more." And Master says, "Great job. That's awesome." And he says, "Because you've been faithful in these few things, I'm going to make you faithful over many things." And then the next one that had 2, he said, "Master, you gave me 2 bags of gold. I've come back with 4. And he says, "Great, because you've been faithful in few things, I'm going to make you master over many things." So the one servant came back and he said, "Master, I didn't lose the bag you gave me." Yeah. And then Jesus starts telling this story about this master. He starts spewing this stuff that it makes you feel uncomfortable. I mean, the guy didn't lose anything, but he starts doing a beat down on the guy. You knew I was the type of master that reaped where I didn't sow, and you knew I was all about that. Take the 1 bag of gold from him, give it to the one that has 5, and cast him out. And it just seems like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. But if you think about it just for a second, something that Bible teachers leave out, the only way that passage makes sense is this: that when the master is passing out these talents, these bags of gold, he must have done it in private. So in other words, the first guy comes in there and it's just the master and his servant. He gives 5 bags of gold. At that point, there's only 2 people in the whole world that knows who this gold belongs to: the master and that servant. And he does the same with the other one. And he does the same with the last one. Now, when the guy with 5 bags of gold goes out and invests it, at that point, everybody knows this isn't his gold. This belongs to the master. There's no way that he has 100 years worth of salary. He's a servant. He doesn't have that. The gig is up. But he invested. Same with the 2. But what does the one do? The guy with 1 bag of gold, when he goes and buries it, there's only 2 people in the entire world that knows who owns that bag of gold: the master and the servant. Now, how can he win? How can that servant win if the master doesn't come back? If the master doesn't come back, he's got 20 years of salary.
Yeah.
And nobody has to know about it. But see what he was trying to do? He was trying to position himself not to lose and not to win. He wanted to position himself to where if the master came back, hadn't lost anything. But he also wanted to position himself where if the master didn't come back, he could keep this. And the reason I tell you this story is because of this. I was fine after I lost. I really was. I was more depressed after I won the primary. Honestly, because I had burned a lot of adrenaline, and I said, oh my goodness, I didn't listen to my body, and I'm depressed. And then I go to the Republican training, and they said, you got to raise $100,000, and I got depressed again. You know, oh my goodness. I thought I needed 22,000 votes, and here I need $100,000. So my son, I was perfectly all right, and my son, my 12-year-old, had a rough time. He was crying, and I didn't know this. My wife told me after he had already left the church where we're meeting for our party at our church, and so the next morning I said, Cameron, come here. I said, did we have fun? He said, yeah, we had fun, but let's move to Mexico. Barack Obama's our president. Let me do that. What kind of weird parents is it? Anyway. So I said, son, let me tell you. I said, when you are cheering for your team on the football field or the basketball court, and you're in the stand, when they win, you're excited. And when they lose, you're disappointed. But I said, but when you're on the field, when you lose, it hurts like crazy. But when you win, there's nothing like it. Never let the thought that you could lose keep you off the field.
Oh, that's a good point.
Get in the game. Get out there. Don't play the smushy middle like that one servant did. Get in the game. Now let me tell you what we did. We bathed what we did in prayer. We were trying to do politics very different. I just felt like politics has become cynical, and it's just about money, 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 money. The Republicans sent me 18 forms to fill out. I didn't fill out any of them. How much money to raise? Right? How many votes am I getting? We really prayed, and you've heard the term killer app. We wanted to find out what the killer app. What's the thing that we can do to shake this up, to shake this race up? So a lot of infighting in our campaign, but when I say infighting, I mean that in a good way. We came up with some great ideas. We said, what if we did a Ronald Reagan, where we bypassed the media and everybody and talked right to the voter? So we ended up coming up with some banners. And we would switch those banners out. And I want to show you a few of these banners real quick. And we just had the funnest time doing these banners. Now this first one made a progressives group top list of signs in the entire country. And this one was number 6 on their list of 13. This was number 6. And this shows how I've taken politics to a new low. It says this. It's a cute little baby, and it says, so much debt, I pooped my pants. And when I was doing call banking, I asked a lady, I said, in the race for president, are you going to vote for Mitt Romney or Barack Obama? Mitt Romney. And in the race for North Carolina State House 50, are you going to vote for Rod Chaney or Valerie Foushee? Valerie Foushee. And I said, what? Ma'am, I am Rod Chaney. Do you mind me asking you why? She said, well, he's got a sign and it talks about poop. And I'm offended about poop.
Did you ask her if she did?
I'm offended at $16 trillion of debt. But, I guess teach its own. We did this one, endorsed by his wife of 30 years. Now, we're going to change this if I run again to endured by his wife of 30 years. This is my son, Cameron, and he's doing the Home Alone thing,
Oh, yeah.
And it says, at age 12, my share of North Carolina's debt is $5,698. I'm in debt, people.
That's great.
So then we did, if you're from the South, see Rock City, but vote Rod Chaney first. All across the South, you've got these on barns and everything.
Free Rock City.
To see Rock City, it costs you $19. Voting for Rod is priceless. That's what I tell people. This one. Kids need parents more than programs. My competitor said, kids need programs. And we would change these. Trust us, Dad can say no to unnecessary spending. I mean, this is my kids acting very disappointed, because they've been very disappointed before. We had a blast. Voter ID makes sense to me. Creative, innovative, thrifty. I was going to do cheap, but my wife said cheap wasn't a nice word. Thrifty sounded better. Politicians don't need any more expensive toys. Light rail failed. Don't give them any money to spend. This was for, I only had this around Hillsborough. It says, elect Rod Chaney, no tax dollars were harmed during the making of this sign. The reason why in Hillsborough and Orange County Commissioners, they spent $250,000 for signs around Hillsborough. Tax dollars were harmed in the making of those signs. And then this was a Chaney safe to hunt with. And one lady was saying, your opponent's safe to hunt with, your opponent's safe to hunt with. And the more she talked, Wendy Jacobs, the more she talked, the Democrats that knew what was going on, we just laughed harder. She didn't understand why we're laughing. I'm not talking about my opponent. See, there was this other Chaney that went hunting. Limited government demands leadership. I think that's, and we've got more. We had a blast, and we would go out on Sunday night, and we would switch out the signs. We would move them around, and I had a woman. When I went to Bahama days, I had people literally standing in line to meet me, talk to me. They said, "I just want to tell you, every Monday morning, I get in the car. What is Chaney going to have on the sign this morning?" And so we just had me and my daughter are going up there, and we're switching out these signs and all. We spent less than $8,000. My opponent spent, I think her numbers are going to come in a little over $100,000.
Oh, wow.
She spent over $4 per vote. We spent 30 cents a vote.
We're cheap.
We're cheap. But guys, we had a blast, and I cannot thank you enough. I thank my church for letting me do this. The Board of Elders, they allowed me to do this. We're going to look, people said, you're going to run again with a name like Chaney. We're definitely going to pray about it. But we've got to look at the numbers and the way things are broken out. If there's one thing that bothers me, it's kind of like chocolate. Can it really be this good for you if you like it this much? You know, I had so much fun. Can it really be that good to do if you're having that much fun? But if the Republicans have a voter ID law that should be coming down the pike, if they would shorten early voting in some kind of get rid of the zombie vote, if they would do away with straight party ticket voting, if they did this type of thing, then we would definitely be in it. My wife was excited. She had fun. She's the turtle in our family. I'm the skunk. Everybody knows when I walk into the room, she's just real quiet and everything. But I cannot tell you how much fun we had. And I'll end with this, another biblical story real quick. We used as our guide David and Goliath. Because remember, as soon as Saul comes to realize that David's going to go out there and there's nothing we can do, he's going to fight Goliath. What do they try to do? Put armor on him. Mm-hmm. And David's sitting there walking around like, I can't even move in this stuff. Take this stuff off of me. What does David have to use? What he's used in his past. Mm-hmm. The slingshot. And how do we know that? He says, I've killed a lion and I've killed a bear. So I had to ask myself, what in my past has made me uniquely prepared to face my future? And I think we all have to ask that. Some of you would be great on phones. Some of you would be great just, when people say it's just too much money. There's too much money in Paul Newby's race. Oh, really? Do you realize that Rod Chaney didn't accept any money from the state Republican Party? He didn't accept any PAC money at all. But you loved voting for the person who accepted $4,000 from Planned Parenthood, all of these other PAC, and he owes them. And you didn't vote for him. So maybe you are a hypocrite. I mean, I'm not saying you have to say it just like that, but get involved. Just get the facts. Have the facts under you.
That's so important.
So I want to thank you. I had so much. Can you tell I had so much fun?
Yes.
People said, did you know you were going to lose? No. I said, devil no. I didn't know. We just feel like it was an honor to run. We're so excited, and my family will all tell you it was a great experience for us. And anyway, thank you.